The buzzers, the trendsetters, the pace setters, the creators. This November, we are celebrating teams that transformed brands and left a mark in the hearts of their audience with the power of their creativity. Join us at the Lagos Advertising and Ideas Festival LAIF, West Africa's biggest advertising festival. Live seminar 16th of November 2021. Young Lifers 17th of November 2021. Awards night and industry party 20th of November 2021 at the Landmarks Event Center. LAIF Awards will be a hybrid event streamed on live.com.ng. Attendance is strictly by invitation. Proudly sponsored by Tolaram Group and supported by Maven Records and Sound City.
Lovely.
Yeah.
Good to be back.
Yes, good to be back.
Okay. I guess we're live now. So
yes, I can see live right there.
Good morning where you are, and good afternoon to our audience in Nigeria and other parts of the world. It's such a great pleasure to have you on this live webinar, courtesy of the Association of Advertising Agencies of Nigeria, AAAN, and it's such a rare privilege to have someone like you. So busy, and I was saying earlier before we started all over again, thanks to COVID, it's easier to get you wherever you are in the world. So there's no running away.
There's no excuse.
We'll always follow you.
Yeah.
So thank you so much. Yes. So I'm going to just dive into it. And again, I'd like to apologize to our audience out there for the delay in starting. A bit of technical hiccups, but we're here. And I'm sure basketball will make up for the time. I can assure you.
I'll try.
Again, yes. So my name is Lanre Adisa, and I'm the chairman of LAIF Management Board. LAIF meaning Lagos Advertising and Ideas Festival, and we've been at this for 16 years. For those who do not know, and so it keeps getting better every year, which is why we have you on board today. I'm going to dive straight into it. Okay. I saw one interesting program on DSTV, and there you were going back to your old secondary school. I'm sure you remember that program.
Yeah.
You were there with lots of some of your friends and all the students and all that. And I found that very heartwarming that you could still go back and retrace your steps. And that takes me back to who you were then, Bright Okpocha, before you became Basket Mouth that we know today.
Yeah.
Tell me about Bright before Basket Mouth came along.
Yeah.
And have you always had this creative bone in you right from back then? Okay.
To be honest, I've spent so much time being Basket Mouth. I've always forgotten how it is to be Bright. I've been Basket Mouth for about 23 years. And I've been Bright all along anyway. But the thing is, Basket Mouth was a creation that we came up with because let me take you back to how it all started. I used to play drums for my church, so I was a church boy, right? There was nothing like comedy.
Difficult to believe that today, though.
I know, right? I used to be in the choir, St. Joseph Choosing Church. I used to play drums for them as well. But even before then, I had already been playing for other churches. So it was my dad that said, you know what, if you're playing for other church, you have to play for my own church. And he made me join his church. And that's how it started. Then I met some guy, Ogonna Okwike. He plays the keyboard. And he was the one that taught me how to play the keyboard. And from that point, when I was playing the keyboard, I realized that we could actually make beats from the keyboard. This is like 1996, All this time, I thought it was music. And I didn't even realize that I could do advertising, to be honest. All I knew I could do was to create, all I wanted at that point when I discovered that we could make music, the first thing that came to my head, I said, look, guy, we need to blend hip hop music and Afrobeat, or high life and Afrobeat. This was in 1996. And the guy was looking at me in a weird way, like, how did you intend to do that? So all those things I was doing, it was like some people thought I was crazy. So I just kind of like let it go, but not like I killed it. I was like, you know what, Bright, you can't do it now. You can't do this now. So when I started doing comedy, I needed to start advertising my show. And I was like, look, if you want to advertise your show, how do you advertise it to make people want to come?
Yeah.
You know, instead of just saying, oh, but live performing, blah blah blah, just make it interesting.
Yeah.
And because me, I've been a rebel when it comes to advertisement. I used to hate some adverts. So I was like, this is an opportunity for you to advertise. Why not use it? So I started advertising back then when I was doing laughs and jams in Lagos. So I was creating the advert myself. So in the process of creating those adverts, Access Bank actually heard about my work and invited me in and wanted me to create some adverts. Then they were selling shares. They just launched their first IPO and all. So I actually did. That was my first official work as an advertising single agent. So
because I was going to ask you that question if there was anything with advertising.
It was Ike Mokode that made me discover that actually appreciated my work. And he asked me to do it. And I created 6 adverts for them in the space of 2-3 hours and sent it to them. There was a CD, there was a compact disc. So we put it on the data and sent it down. And they loved it. And that was what they used. And I was like, Bright, you can do this thing. But then it's just me, you know? So all these things I was discovering at different points in my life. The comedy I discovered I won't say by mistake, because so everything. So for everything that I discover, I lock it in. I was like, okay, Bright, you can do this. You need to improve on this one, you know? But Bright, let me tell you now about Bright. Bright is that guy. Yeah, I'm very shy. Yes, I'm extremely shy.
Tell me something else.
Yes, I am. Most people don't know, but it's a struggle. The only people that knows that I'm extremely shy, the people that are closest to me.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm that kind of guy. But I'm that guy that once I want, if I don't understand something, I want to understand it. If I can do it, I want to be the best in it. You know, and that's how I discovered everything, and I understood music, I understood art, I understood advertising, because everything was given birth to based on need and want and all that. Because I needed to start doing my own promo. You understand? I needed to sell my shows.
Interesting.
You understand? And I like, you know what? You need to sell it the way people will buy it. So I did that myself. And when I did it, people saw it and like, oh, we like it. So I was like, oh, they like it. So this is like 20 years ago. So you can imagine how the mind has been working, because I wasn't doing anything. So every time I see an advert, I recreate the advert in my head. You know what I'm saying? And I'll tell my guys, say, look, I think I have a better advert for this product. And I'll tell them, they were like, what? You know? Now, before I go, I'm going to tell you, fun fact. My manager, Dotumakun, went for a job interview with one of these advertising agencies. I'm not going to mention names. And they said they were selling a product, a TV product, and they want to let people see how realistic, how clear the TV is. And they said that was his interview, that he needs to come up with an idea. So he told me, and I was like, okay, you know what? Why not create something where 2 people are watching TV, a football game, and then someone plays the ball from the TV, and the guys watching the football moves, and it seems like the ball is coming out, like it's so realistic. They had to duck, and he presented that in. They didn't give him the job, but I saw that billboard.
Wow.
Yeah, I saw the billboard, and I called Dotun. I said, Dotun, isn't that the idea
that I sold to you?
And then I was like, oh, Bright, you're good at this thing. For them to use it. So I'm like, all right, okay, at least, yeah. So those are the things that made me kind of know.
We'll talk more about advertising, I can assure you. And I had to go back and see some of the things you did. And I must say, I found them very interesting. We'll probably play one or two before we finish. How did you get into comedy? Because I know that you started with music, you had your own band that you didn't produce an album eventually, but you also had another band the odds. Again, that did not go too far.
No.
Then you ended up in comedy. How did you get into comedy?
Okay, back then I didn't know I was funny. Everybody in my clique were all funny, so it was like in my mind everyone is funny, until I went to secondary school, United Christian Secondary School, and then I saw that this thing they call wording, like your papa do this and your mama do this one. It was common in my secondary school back then, and there were some people that were ruthless, and I could do it. These are things I do. I can wake up in the morning, I can insult somebody from top to bottom, because me and my friends, we used to spar all the time, and we used to spar for fun. Like there was Dominic, there was Tutu. These guys are ruthless. I even thought they were going to be comedians after I discovered my stuff. So I think I can't remember how it started, but someone else said I actually jumped into a battle and I took it over and I slaughtered the guy, because they were winning this boy and he was helpless. So I stepped in and I murdered the guy, like all these your mama, and when I was done,
what the Americans called roasting.
When I was done roasting this guy, the whole school went crazy. Like the whole GSS one went crazy. So afterwards, they used to call me to come and insult people, and they used to give me 5 naira.
The cheap insulter.
The cheap insulter. So I used to do that. So it was fun for me. I was like, this is something I do normally. There's nothing there, and they are paying me for it. I've got into trouble a lot of times, and but that's how it started. So I did that until one day I was giving my friends some gist. I was just telling them some funny stories. And if my brother's friend heard me, people were laughing. And he asked me, Bright, have you ever watched Eddie Murphy's performance? There's one show he did, Delirious. Have you seen it? I didn't know that Eddie Murphy was a comedian. So I told him I had not. That he gave me the tape, the VHS tape. I watched it and I was like, this is what I want to do. I like to do this. And that's how it started. So I started looking for comedians around. So I discovered Alibaba through the Charlie Boy show back then. We didn't have phones. There's nothing. So I was like, you know what? I can't do it. So I went to Uniben and I started. It was in Uniben. I don't know. No. When I went to Uniben, I didn't even start comedy. I went to Uniben and I continued with music because I believe so much in my rap skills and my production and everything. And I was doing music. It was in the course of doing music, we were performing one time and we were getting booed, that I told the DJ to stop the music, and I went in on the crowd and I was with them. I was on them for like 30 minutes, insulting everybody. I was upset because I'm like, look, I'm trying to perform for you guys. You guys are having me that I'm the king. I said, okay. So I told the DJ to stop, and that's how I started. And when I was done, my friends, they were like, right, why not just do comedy instead of rap? Like, I'm like, really? They say, yes. Like, that is what
they were all laughing.
I like, I told my guys, I was like, I think I'm going to do comedy. You understand? And that's how I started thinking towards it. And eventually, it became something. But then in Uniben, there's one place you have to perform before people will believe that you're a chairman. It's a Hall 4 common room. If you can perform inside the Hall 4 common room, then you're good. So they set up a show for me eventually after a while, and I did that show. No stage, no nothing. It was just a small bench. You start in the middle of everybody, and they are insulting you for hours. If you can survive it, then you're good. So I did that, and I survived it. It was fun. Dotsun was there. I remember clearly. I wish I can remake those moments. It's like it's a movie. You understand? And that's after I did that, I was like, Bright, you can do this thing. This is you. And that's how I started. That's how it started. I didn't have a joke back then. I only could yab. So I would tell my friends to get into the crowd and yab me so I could yab back. Because I didn't have jokes. So eventually, I think it was in 1999 that I wrote my first joke. And I wrote my first joke in Ekboma when I went to Ekboma to visit a friend of mine. My first joke was actually written in Ekboma. Yeah.
So Ekboma plays a big role in your career then?
Yes, they were fighting in Uniben back then. There was a small occult war back then. and we ran to Okpocha to stay with my now lawyer, Magnus Mary. So it was
Okay.
while we were there, because we weren't doing anything. So I was like, you know what? I wasn't doing any shows, nothing. Like, no, let me even start writing jokes. So I started creating jokes. I started writing it down. And by the time I was done in Okpocha, I had about 5 jokes. And I came back to Uniben with it, and we started having fun. Then eventually I met Alibaba, and the rest became history.
Lovely, lovely. So, I mean, and well done, seriously.
Hope I'm not taking too much time, because this
No,
long
I'm
well.
enjoying every bit of it, every bit of it. And I believe the same will go for our audience out there. I'd just like you to take a look at how far we've come, or how far you've come as an industry, the comedy scene, and where we are today. What's your take on the development so far? Are we? I bet we're making progress, but to what degree, and how do we compare with the rest of the world? I'll leave it to you. You are in that industry. Can you just give us a bit of your own take on that?
Yeah. So in terms of comedy, stand-up comedy is doing great. Like, you can, as you can see, we're seeing a new generation of stand-up comedians every other day. But then again, it's not growing at the right pace. Why? Because there's no structure. There's no system. There's nothing. There's no comedy club in Nigeria. There's no place where comedians can go and try their routines. In America, you have Laugh Factory, the Improv. You have so many, and they all have it in different states. 2, 3 comedy clubs, major comedy clubs in each state in America. So you see that there are nights where amateurs can go and perform, try their stuff. Scouts are coming there to discover new talents, and that's the reason why you see it's always growing. In Nigeria, you do not have a place to try out your new materials. You can only try it with your friends, or or live gigs. And if you score badly, you probably won't get booked again. So now out here, they have writers, they have a structure, they have people that will set you up good. In Nigeria, you're your own writer, you're your own promoter, you're everything. So, but even at that, we've made tremendous progress. If you look at, how Alibaba, myself, and the rest of the other cats have been able to push it to this point without any support from the government, without any support from anybody. We don't have a space where we can do comedy shows that is cheap. If you want to do a comedy club, there's no theater. National Theater is not functioning. So you have to now use Eco Hotel. You don't need Eco Hotel for a comedy show. Yeah. Sometimes you only need 500 people. Sometimes just 1,000 people. We don't have that. So these are things that is killing that space. So now we have Instagram. You having Instagram means that, you can actually skip the live performance and just start creating skits, and the whole world can see it. So that's how a new breed of comedians, which we call Instagram comedians, now came into the picture. Now, stand-up comedians didn't have a space to do their own thing because we never did. Now, on social media, you can't put up a 30 minutes performance or 15 minutes. People are watching skits that is for 1 minute, 30 seconds. They want it quick. They won't sit down and waste their data listening to your joke that is going to take about 10 minutes, except they love your work. So you see, stand-up comedy kind of like started dying a little. It started dying a little. Skit makers were everywhere, and unfortunately, I'm sorry to say this, they started biting. Some of them, they ran out of ideas and they started biting from materials, from comedians and making it and turning it into jokes. And that's not how the industry can grow.
You should add to it, not take away from it all the time.
Not take away from it. So in terms of stand-up comedy, there are some guys that are really talented, like, some new guys, Forever, If You Worry Boy. I saw Ife's performance at Terra Culture. Terra Culture is one good venue. I wish we had more of Terra Culture. Yeah, but it's always fully booked. So Ife did a set and I watched him. And I won't lie to you, when I was done watching him perform, I was like, there's a future in comedy. And I was happy to have seen his work. So yeah, there's a future in stand-up comedy in Nigeria. All we need is just structure. The internet has made it so easy for people to come out and explode across the world. But in terms of the real core of stand-up comedy, there's no structure. There's no place there's only one place you can come to, and it happens only Wednesdays. A place called Live Lounge. I don't know if you've heard of it. I host it. That's the only place that looks like a comedy club. The only place in the whole of Nigeria.
So maybe it's a challenge for people like you to actually set this up, because it may never happen, unless perhaps it's difficult, but it may never happen. It might be the only way you can actually ensure that the next generation, can do better than how you started.
I intend to set up a comedy club or even a venue where you can host comedy shows, or even like 2-in-1. It's a comedy club, and also at the back or wherever is a theater that can sit about 500, because you don't even have 500 people. The way it's done, if you sell out 500 a show ticket and the show is 7 p.m., you could do another one at 9 p.m. and you could do another one at midnight. That's how they do it here. So the venue doesn't necessarily have to be big, right?
Yeah.
So I'm looking at doing something like that. Unfortunately, we live in a country where for you to get a loan from a bank to set up, because, bro, when you're looking at location, it has to be Lekki or VI or Ikoyi.
Definitely.
That's
and
that
is not cheap.
That's not cheap.
That is not.
So
that is not
I've been looking for a space. I've been looking for investors, because it's easy money, and most people don't know. People, because it's from that space you can give birth to online shows. You can now turn it into something that will now become. You can take it to Netflix or any of those. But you need you need a hub. Yeah. So that I'm looking at doing something like that.
That's really good.
Next. Yeah.
That's cool. Before I go on from comedy to other things you've done, which you've done very well, and I'm really, really, impressed by your versatility as an artist. I'd just like to, for the sake of our audience, we talked about you being inspired by not liking some things in advertising and recreating your own, and having to do your own thing to promote your show. And I actually took down two of the things that you did. I'll try and see. I'm sure I can play now, or maybe you still have it on your dashboard. Let me see if I can play from here. Okay, the first one I'm playing is the one involving your late friend.
Sounds so 10.
Lot of the week,
Sometimes.
lot of the week. Okay, too slow. I know it's too slow. No. No. Lot of the week,
Don't do my advert.
My voice too low. My voice too low. Lot of the week, lot of the week, lot of the week, lot of the
As I was saying, the Lord of the Rings on the 28th of
Lot of the week,
28th and 29th of September.
I thought that was really funny.
That was one of my favorite adverts ever.
Yes, I thought that was really funny.
Yeah.
I thought that was really funny. And that would lead me to collaborations. And I can see you've done a whole lot of that. You had Nedu on these, you had Shaggy, you had everybody on this, and it was hilarious from one to the. It didn't feel like, I've seen that before. It's a common trope and all that. I think you did very well in that regard. Let's talk about music. So, was comedy in a way a stopgap for you to go back to your first love? Am I right to call music your first love?
Yeah, you're right to call. If you listen to my story, I always say it like it was music, but I never told anybody that it was my first love, because that's disrespecting stand-up comedy. but I always tell them that I was a musician. Then eventually, I went into music. Now the thing is, when I discovered comedy, music never went off my mind. Like, I've been listening to music since I was little. My eldest brother was a DJ. My dad loved music. So my mom, everyone loved music. So it's been a part of me. So even when I moved to comedy, you see me, it was so bad. I loved music to the point where I didn't have a tape player or a CD player, nothing in my room. We couldn't afford it in Uniben. And there was a competition, a rap competition that was going on. TA was the MC. And I didn't know TA back then and all that. So I enrolled for that competition. Unfortunately, I got chicken pox and I couldn't go. I was all covered in calamine lotion that day. The show had started and everyone had left. I was alone, sick. And I told my boys, I said, I want to go for this thing. I need to play my own music. It wasn't because of I just I want to win that CD player. I need to start playing songs in this room. This room is driving me mad. And I wiped off my hands, my neck, my face, so nobody would see the lotion. I borrowed a shirt from a friend of mine, I remember all the story. And I walked all the way to the venue, which was like Phase 1 gate to Bonnie Camp, thereabout.
Wow.
Yes. So I got to the venue. The competition was about to start. I enrolled. I went in. So I did two things. I went in as a rap, and I went in as a comedian. Yeah. And I performed, and people loved it. Then my second performance, I went in as a rapper. Right.
Yeah.
So it was because they had not seen me rap. Because all the while I was trying to do it, they didn't give me a chance to.
Yeah.
Right. So because of now everyone is there, they want to hear what this guy has got. When I did comedy, I was like, you know what? I'll do rap music for the second one. So I went in to do rap music, and I actually kind of like floored the rappers on the bill. So they were like, you know what? TA was like, you know what? This guy is our arena. so that morning, as early as 6 a.m., I was playing songs from that Bush
In your
CD
room.
player from my room. And then I had to start looking for CD, I was looking for DJs to make me compilations so I could enjoy. So I've always loved music. And when an opportunity came, most people don't know this, but when I started doing comedy in big time, I was opportune to have met with a lot of musicians. Even before I started doing comedy, I had met these guys. So I did I have 2 songs with Wizkid, most people that I never released. I have a song with Dara Atalade, with Phase of the Plantation Boys, with Sound Sultan, with so many people, but I never released it because I didn't feel it was complete. But then I now created Papa Benji, and Papa Benji needed soundtracks. And I'm like, okay, you know what? Bright, don't be involved in the music. You can create it and get yourself out of it. So that way you can create what you want. So we started making songs. When I met with my producer, Dr. Seth, I started creating songs. And every time, for some funny reason, I didn't know I had it. I didn't know I was an A&R. I didn't know what it meant. I didn't care. So, and I'll hear the beat. I was like, you know what? I want to feature this guy and this guy on this song. And then we were like, that's impossible. Like, don't worry, I can hear it. So it was later and I realized that I don't hear music alone. I actually see it in colors. Like, it's like painting.
Yeah.
So, and like this can go, like blue can go with yellow or something like those kind of stuff, just blend it in ways that in your head. And that's how I started. And I did Yabas and everyone loved it. And I was like, okay, I guess this is the time. And I went in fully. And right now, I'm actually really into it and I'm enjoying it. And the reason why I'm enjoying it is because I spent 23 years doing comedy. You understand? All that while I wanted to do music. So when the opportunity came, I was like, so it's a new thing for me. I'm getting too excited. Comedy is still there. I'm still doing my specials. I'm still doing my private gigs. But when you just discover something that was just there right in front of you for a very long, you get excited. So right now I'm a little bit invested into music. That and there are some things I'm doing with music right now that is, I can't wait for the world to hear it. It's beautiful.
Wow. I can't wait either. But tell
And
me.
also with comedy.
Yeah.
There's my new set that's coming out that I'm doing with the voices in my head in London.
I was going to talk about that. I saw that.
I'm sorry. We'll talk about it later. So yeah. So those are the things. Like the new space I got into gave, like, you open my mind to so many things. And it's I won't lie to you, I'm having so much fun right now.
I was going to say, you sound like a very fulfilled man. Well done.
Yes,
really,
yes,
really,
I'm happy.
really good. But tell me, before we got to that point, at what point did you feel like, man, I don't make them?
I've never reached that point yet.
I understand that, but let me step back.
I'll say,
in terms of like, okay, I've been doing music from Uniben, doing rap and all that, but here I am, with all sense of humility. How did I get to this point?
Yeah. So, I know, I understand the question, but I'm like, so the thing is, for every phase, I'm like, man, this is amazing. Yeah, but you're not done yet. You need to do this. So I never got to that point where I'm like, yeah, man, look, I'm done. It's done.
No.
So, but I get to a point where I'm like, man, this is dope, man. What you're doing is, I recognize it, because first of all, I need to know my work, know myself. They say know thyself. So I know, I appreciate my own creation first. I want to know that, okay, this is dope before I can serve it. You understand? So, so when we're creating Yabas, when we created the 10 songs, the idea behind that album, I told my guys, the producer, I said, I want every song to be my best song. I don't want anyone to be an album filler. I want every song. So I don't want to have a favorite. So because of that, that's the kind of mindset that I have, it helps, because when I'm done with this, I'm like, okay, this is good, but what comes afterwards? What's next? So in terms of music, I've not reached that point where I go like, man, you've arrived. But I've reached that point where I go like, they are liking what you're doing. They acknowledge it. They appreciate it. You need to do better. You need to convince them and let them know that, look, they are comfortable in your hands, their ears. They're all comfortable. So they're safe. In terms of comedy, to be honest, one of the days that I was like, man, Bright, damn, you've done this thing, is when I performed on the same stage that Eddie Murphy performed when I watched Delirious, the same venue.
Wow.
I was opening for Russell Peters, and when he told me that this is the place that Eddie Murphy did Delirious, I was like, what?
You went back to that tape.
I went back to the tape that was given to me about like 20 years before.
Wow.
And I'm like, Bright, you're actually doing this. And even if you go back to even Russell, how I met Russell Peters, I discovered him on YouTube. And I was like, man, this guy is so dope. I would like to with this. I wonder how it would feel like to work with this guy. And I bumped into him when I went to do Just for Laughs, the festival in Montreal. And apparently he was a fan as well. He had seen my performance on YouTube and he loved it. So when I saw him, I was like, yo, man, I'm a big fan. And he looked at me like he recognized me and wanted to be sure and flipped my tag because my tag was turned upside down. And he flipped my tag. And so and he said, Basketball? Wow, I'm a big fan. And I'm like, oh, God.
Wow.
Those things were the things that were unreal for me. Like, me meeting, like I met the guy that created the Jamie Foxx show, right? Ben. I met him 2 days ago. And when Russell introduced me to him and said, this is Basketball, the guy turned. I'm like, I knew you looked familiar. In my mind, I was like, what? He knows me? So you see, those things just gives you this sense of, like you don't try.
You're doing good.
But you're doing good. So yes, I don't want to be comfortable. That's the reason why I don't let it stay in my mind that, look, Basket, you don't arrive. Because
I agree. I agree with that principle. There's an agency I follow called RGA, and they said there will always be 90%. There'll never be 100%. Meaning that there's always something to feel at every point in time.
Exactly.
And I think that's the best way for anybody who creates. Otherwise, you can just go and end up somewhere nobody will reckon with. And I appreciate that. Where is the role of the audience in all of this, in terms of the comedy or the music? I mean, when I look at the music and I see a big influence in terms of even High Life and the new Afrobeat and all of that, but it's all coming from the roots. I like the authenticity, you can touch it, you can believe it. And I'm just wondering where the audience comes in for you and your role in the scheme of things, especially for comedy. When I look at comedy in a country like Nigeria, Basket Mouth as a name, I mean, I can easily just go back to Fela, and the fact that you always keep licking. Where do you see yourself as an artist in regards to the audience and the society?
Okay, the thing is, there was one time I met with my apostle back then, Hayford Alile. He's late now.
Yeah.
And he told me, he said, you're so big right now. People listen to you. I would like to see you use your platform and your voice for things that are positive, to pass positive messages. And he said that thing like 5 years ago. And I thought about it. I took it in. I was like, this is actually true. You can actually, you have the power to do A or do B. You understand? Then do the right thing, which is the reason why when I started creating Papa Benji, I created it because of what I had seen in the society. If you really watch Papa Benji, you realize that it's all packed up with information, with morality, and we are painting pictures on the ills of the society.
Yeah.
If you watch Papa Benja, aside the humor, there's a message. And I started creating things like The Bright Side, Mambo and Boniface, inspirational quotes, just things to enlighten people. So to be honest, when I create, the consumer is my priority. Yeah. How to make them laugh, how to give them information, how to open their eyes to things that's happening around them, the culture and all that. So they are the reason why I create these things. And if you notice, I know that you've noticed how passionate I am about my country. If you look at my story, I'm always jabbing the government, the leaders. The reason why I do that is because of this is the only country that I know. I'm so invested in the country. Everything in the country is so beautiful. I didn't realize how talented our musicians were until I started making music. And I was like, these guys are actually, I'm sorry for anybody that's watching this. The Nigerian musicians are actually the best in the world.
I agree.
The best, like by far. Now, when it comes to acting, the Nigerian actors are very good, the actresses as well, but they don't have the platform. And even when they get the platform, they don't get to the directors. Like, I'm sorry, but a lot of directors, they don't know what they are doing. I'm sorry. You understand?
It's okay. This is the essence of this conversation. We need to be hard on ourselves for us to get better. Yeah.
They don't squeeze the juice out of these guys. You have to apply pressure to be able to get diamonds and all these things. So they let these guys come in. They don't, like, for what I do, like when I see an actor, like when I created Prosper's character on Flatmates, I saw him doing a joke and I looked at him and I was like, I created a character from one of his jokes and he did it so well. He was acting drunk and all that. And I was like, Prosper, I didn't know he's Kuluman. I said, Kuluman, I'd like for you to play a role in a sitcom I'm working on. You play a gatesman. I like this character. I want you to build on it. And I told him all the things that he must work with. And he is killing that role 100%. And if you watch the Nigerian movies, you'll find out that there are some actors, very few of them have range. You see the same expression in every movie. It's not their fault. They can give you the expressions, but the director is not making them give them the expression. So you see, most times, so you see all these things. When I see all these things, I'm like, you know what? I need to make my own movie. You know what? That's the only way I can do it because I can't change it from where I'm sitting. So I need to make something. You understand? And that's the same thing that happened with music. There was a time I was listening to some beats and it was just so boring. The same bounce, the same modulation, the same frequency, the same everything. I'm like, and they put so much work on the artist. So the artist is the one that has to squeeze the heat out of a common beat. Do you understand? So in my own case, when I met Dr. Seth, I said, Dr. Seth, we need to create beats that are complete. The beats that people can listen to without vocals on it. So for me, it's more or less like I'm challenged by everything that I see because I want the best for everything. So in comedy, yes, I'm working on myself definitely to be the best in terms of stand-up comedy. In terms of TV, I saw an opening, and that's why Flatmate is there. You understand? I was looking at the space. So I don't do anything out of, let me just do it. You can't give people two of the same thing. And that's the reason why it's hard for Jason Derulo to take over Chris Brown, because it's like a replica. You understand? So if the industry is not missing it, I don't create it. So I looked at the space and I was like, I think they deserve something like Papa Benji. You know what? I'm going to create something like this. I think they did this. I think they did that. I think they did that. I think that. So the audience, they're actually the reason why I do what I do. You understand? Apart from the fact that I love challenging myself.
Interesting. So, thank you so much. You've said quite a lot. I wanted you to just tell me, what does it take? And you've done quite a lot, and there's a whole lot more to watch out for from you from this conversation.
There's a lot.
What does it take to break through in this, like we call it here, this creative jungle? The best place to create, but I know also it's a very tough place to create. So, what does it take to really break through?
So the thing is, for all the creators watching, you need to, when you're creating, there are two things you need to put at the back of your mind. Will they like it? Will the consumer like it? And that is the consumer, the people laughing. Are they going to enjoy it? And now you've gotten that, which means you've converted a skit to laughter.
Yeah.
Right? Now, you spent money to create this skit. How do you convert it to money? So which means you have to create something that the consumer loves and something that the brands can advertise on that they love as well. So if you do not have that, you end up just converting skit to laughter, you're broke. Skit to laughter, you're broke. People see you, they don't see you as a pro. They just look at you as he's a funny chap. Brands are not seeing anything that they can plug in with. You understand? So what I would advise people to do in this space, when you're creating, always create something that can convert to laughter and at the same time that can convert to money. So that way you can fund your project. That way you can use the best cameras. That way you can use the best locations and the best props. You understand? So you need the money first. So when you're creating, you need to create something that brands will love. And then the good thing is, with these guys, they're lucky. They have social media. So all you need is actually hard work. You have a space, unlike before. The reason why I started doing most of the things I'm doing right now is because I noticed a decline in terms of show participation. And it wasn't because of people who couldn't laugh. It's because of it was becoming inconveniencing for the people on the mainland. The people on the mainland love laughter more than the people on the island.
You sure?
Yes,
I did
100%. Yes, I've tried it. I know. There was a time that 80% of my audience used to come from the mainland. We're the ones that sell tickets now. Do you understand? Because when we put tickets, that time the tickets were not electronica. Yeah, it was virtual. So when we put tickets in Surulere, it will finish. If we put in Ikeja, it will finish. But the ones in Lekki will be going small, because the ones that are comfortable, they can always buy.
They have all sorts of avenues of entertainment.
And they have a lot of other avenues. But on the mainland, these guys want to have fun. So it started declining. I noticed that, and I started asking questions. Apparently, they have to think about hotel room, because after the show, unfortunately, most of the show promoters, you can't go back. You sleep, you and your girlfriend, you eat. So a show ticket can be 5,000 naira, but these people are spending 60,000 naira just to watch a show.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, you know what, Bright? You need to start creating things that will be online, so these guys, they don't have to come and stress themselves. And that's how the whole thing started. And if people can start thinking from that angle, which they're already doing, you understand, create things that people can watch while they're at home. Yeah, a skit is good, but it would be nice if you make it a series. Create a character, and just have 13 episodes of this story and just stretch it. you know, because Nigerians, we love drama, we love chaos, we love all these things. So if you can, yes, those are the things that creators should start doing, like have a story, and don't just create because of you want to create. You need substance. Like when there's no backstory, how did it start? What's the idea behind it? You need to bring people, let them be invested in the core, the creation. They will appreciate it more. But if it's watery and it's something that they've seen before, like I see all these guys, it's always woman, man, sex, this, that. Come on, man. Way more to creativity than, you know, genders. You know, if you look at my stuff, The Secrets of Lulu was the one I created that has women in it. And it was neat. There was no bedroom scene, no nothing. You know? If it comes to Mambo and Boniface, it's me and Bucci. You know, I try as much as possible to, in as much as I want women involved, I don't want to stereotype it. So we don't really need to put a naked woman or a girl with a big ass to make it sell. First of all, it's disgusting to the brands. They don't want to put their product on stuff like that, most of them, you understand? But people don't see that. The way you can get the blue chip companies to brand your stuff is to create things that is comfortable with their brand, that suits their brand. And most of these guys, they're not doing it. And I hope they, you know, because you need to be able to convert it to cheddar, you know? So these are the things that need to be done. And also one final thing I like to tell people, creators, don't do the same. Like if someone has done it, even if you can do something better, leave it. Create something extraordinary, something unique to yourself, something that people will discover and go like, man, this is like when I came into the picture, I was just basket mouth, right? But there was nothing crazy about me. So I left the dreads. You understand? Something that is edgy. You're like, there, the guy with the dreads. Have a signature. Have something that is unique to you, you know? And I tell people most times, when you're creating content, don't speed up the process, the video itself. Your voice, you're losing your voice. Your voice is your signature. People should be able to hear your voice in their sleep and go like, that is this. That's basket mouth. That's basket mouth. So you need, these are the things that, you know, everybody will get there. We'll get there. But to be honest, you need to love what you do. You need to be able to push yourself beyond.
I can see that side of you. I can see the fact that you challenge yourself. You look at what is out there and say, I want to do that. And I want to do it better. There's some ad done for Honda diesel engine in the UK. And it won a big, you know, Grand Prix at the Cannes Lion Festival. And it said, hate something, change something. That if you hate something enough, you will change it. And I think that seems to be what is driving you. That if you don't love diesel engine that makes a lot of noise and pollutes the air, then the challenge for the Honda people was to create one that would not do that, you know, and that was what we did. So I think it's one thing to take away from this conversation, that the only way you can get better is to change what is around you. So we all become change makers in our own right.
Exactly.
I'm going to go back to where we started from. And I'm going to play one more of those, you know, adverts for a lot of the rips, and we'll talk about, you know, what next, as it were, and let's see where that takes us. Let me just play that now. One of your friends again. Here we go.
Okay, guys, the show I was telling you guys about the Lords of the Ribs on the 28th and 29th of September. The first show is 5,000 naira, no VIP, no tables. The second show is 10,000 naira, and for table bookings, call 08. Abdul, you people should let me do my advert in peace now.
We are trying to help you. Let me tell you something. We that come from the north, we are very good marketers. Why do you think Granite sell in the rainy season, dry season? He can sell anytime. I want to market your
I don't want you to help me.
You have to want me to help you. Let me tell you something. Your show is two show. So I'm gonna do you're gonna do 2 times after me. 1
I'm not doing
it. Repeat after me.
Fine.
That's what you for the second show. You have a solar show. Congratulations.
So I was saying.
I've forgotten all this stuff, man.
Interesting.
Oh
Very
man, I'm
interesting.
crazy.
So question, basketball. Are you starting an agency at some point?
I want to. I really want to because. So the thing is, I'm an Igbo boy, and I think Igbo people we can market for everything for Africa.
Yes, marketing and advertising.
Exactly. So the thing is, the way I would love to, like I love advertising, I love advertisement, I love adverts, I love anything that, especially if it's creative, you know. So I told my guys one time, like, you know what, I'm gonna start a company, a marketing company, an agency, which I actually registered some like 4 years ago, but I've not been able to do anything. You know, I didn't know it was that difficult to get brands to engage you. I thought it was going to be easy, you know, but eventually I think I'm going to collaborate with someone that is in that space.
Okay.
And hopefully he will be the one that will help me out.
Okay.
I don't know if we have to go now because do we? I want to take a
okay.
We're still on. We're still live. How many more minutes?
We're still live. Yeah, we're still live.
Okay. I want to say hello to my boss. Hey man, I'm doing a live show. Good morning, sir. Yeah. You wanna say hi to them?
Hi.
Hello, that's Russell Peters.
You have the hair.
Yeah. Okay, sorry. Yeah, you want to put it.
It's good to see you do a cameo on our interview.
So,
well, that's good. We didn't pay for that, but that's good. Thanks.
Yes.
Good. Okay, that's really good. And I think just while you're answering that, there's a question here from the audience that is somewhere in the line of that. It says, do you see a future between the advertising industry and content creators, kit makers?
Yes, that's the future right there. Now, if they are able to unlock it, that's where it is. That's everything. Because these guys, they have the numbers. You can't, like, some of them, they have about like 800, 1 million views from one skit. So most adverts, most products, they don't get that many views from an advert because you don't get people watching TV at the same time. Hold on a second. Russell? Okay. All right. Sorry. I'm so sorry.
No problem. We'll soon be done. Yeah.
So the thing is, you can't have 1 million people watching an advert at the same time.
Yeah.
Right? Which means these guys, they have the power to control more people than even TV at the sitting. Yeah. And I believe that eventually brands will start seeing it and they will start, and these guys too, they will also upgrade themselves to the point where the brands will feel comfortable to marry their product with them. Yeah, and I see a lot of potential. I see a great future in that because already it's happening, but it's not just happening the way it should be.
Okay. Still in the line of that, I think that there are some advertising people here and they just want to milk you a little bit more in that direction. Yeah. And they're saying, for instance, do you see yourself having a stint in an ad agency? Although you mentioned having a collaboration, if possible, with somebody. And they say, if yes, what brand would you love?
I'll be here. I'm so sorry.
No problem.
Are you heading out now? Yes, that's Nigeria. The box. The Rolex box.
Oh shit! It's in my closet.
It's fine.
I could send it to you.
I'll come in February. I'll pick it up in February. Yeah. Have a good one, man. Love you too, man. I'll be back. Okay, man. Sorry.
No problem.
You know,
I was saying,
I love you.
No, we'll find that away somewhere. Don't worry. That's the American.
Okay. Yeah. So a stint.
So if you're saying,
to be honest,
having a stint in an agency, and if yes, what brand would you love to work on?
Oh man. Wow. So the thing is, I've seen a lot of brands that I would love to market their stuff. Like I see like the creativity from that space, like the telecoms.
Yeah.
What? There's a lot of, they are doing very well. I like what Airtel, the ad agency that works for Airtel. Those guys are dope. Those guys are.
You're talking to me, Basket Mouth.
Is that you?
That's my agency.
What?
Thank you.
I meant this applause.
Thank you. Coming from you, I really
guys-
appreciate that. And I have goosebumps actually.
You guys are sick. I love it. So to be honest, then like the thing is, when I see it, I'm like, man, I thought I was the only one that thinks like this. I'm happy to see other people doing even better, you know. But yeah, there's the telecoms. There's also the beverage as well, whether non-alcoholic or alcoholic. Just all brands. I can sell anything, to be honest, even coffee itself. I'm just kidding. But the thing is, I feel there's a lot of room for, you see, like there's one particular ad that a skit, an ad that I'm working, that I worked on, and the way I worked on it, it can pass for a Nestle ad for coffee, it can pass for anything, and I actually try to sell it to them, but you know, most of them, because it has not reached that season, or the market has gone. So, but these things, I always save them in my head, and it's so dope that I can put any brand on it, like any brand. Most of the things I created in a way whereby it's universal. All I need to do is to put a brand and tilt the narrative. So yes,
well, I think again that's where you need to collaborate with agency people in terms of again, because sometimes the thing that makes a brand different will be a brand is so good that when you see another brand do something close to that, I think it's that brand. And I think it's about being able to find the soul of that brand. And that's where your collaboration can really make a difference. Bringing the soul and bringing the entertainment part of it as well.
I would love to collaborate with, for me, if you notice, even with my creation, you realize that I try not to. It's not important. It's not a must for me to be the person leading the creative or whatever I've created. Like Papa Benji, the name Papa Benji is not even me. I'm behind. So as I can create something and I'll be behind it. As long as someone can carry it better than I can, it's yours. So that's collaboration for me. Even with the agency, if an agency comes to me and say, "Oh, Bright, we're working on this product. We would like for you to come in as a consultant and help us create stuff around it," I'll do it. Because
I think that's what we should be doing actually. And our industry should be reaching out, more than any other thing, to say there is room for collaboration.
If you guys trust me, if you guys do it, I would love to, because in as much as I can't set up my own advertising company right now, these things are wasting. They are just, I don't want it to die with me.
Okay.
So yes,
I'll take one more question so we can wrap it up, so we don't take too much of your time. I reckon you have to move on at some point. So I have a question here. It says, I have noticed some of your recent skits seem inspired by Ryan Reynolds, stylish, which I love. So here's the question. What inspires you about him? Assuming I am correct.
Okay, you're not correct. It's not. Ryan, I'm a big fan of Ryan, but to be honest, I never saw his ads or anything before I started doing my thing. And for me, let me tell you what inspired me. Let me go back. I told you about when I was in Laughs and Jams. So the idea for Laughs and Jams, I used to do it with radio, was myself and Freeze, right? So we create adverts, either someone is looking for a ticket to buy, just different drama, just to, to get people laughing. And when everything changed, like social media came into play, I was like, okay, Bright, you do not want to be so serious when selling a comedy show. They have to be laughing now, so they can
before they buy the ticket.
Before they buy the ticket, you need to ginger them. How do you do that? So I was like, you know what? I have to start creating funny adverts. So I came to the States. This is how it all started. So I came to the States like 2-3 years ago, and I was thinking of, Bright, how do you do this? How do you sell this show? Because I had 2 shows. Then for some funny reason, all I could see in my head at that point in time was a white background and me talking. I did not think about someone coming to disturb me and all that. So when I was thinking, okay, Bright, you're doing the advert, what do you do? I was like, okay, what if Kobams? You know what? Let's do something weird. So, because I was just thinking of so many things. So I thought about Kubans. And when I called Kubans, I was like, would you like to do this with me? Like, are you open to doing it? The guy was like, I'd love to. Bro, I changed my return ticket that same day and flew back to Lagos.
Wow.
So you see all these kits you see right now, all these kits, it was all shot in one day. Was from the airport straight to the studio.
Wow.
IK, everybody came. We shot about like 6 kits because it was fresh. I didn't want to go to bed with it. I was like, you know what? I'm shooting it right now. So when we started releasing it, some of my friends were now like, you know what? I would like to do mine. Plug me in. And I'm like, okay, you know what? I'll come up with an idea. So every time they go like, I would like to come on board, I look at the person and I'm like, okay, you know what? This is what we're going to do. And sometimes there's no idea until they come. I will not be looking at the whole thing and like, okay, this is how we're doing it. You know? Because sometimes when it's too planned, it becomes,
it gets plastic.
So So the inspiration for that was because I actually honestly wanted to entertain the audience and make them laugh. And the trick with it is this. I said I was going to do about like 8 or 10 of it, but I will not drop all the information of the show
in one.
I'll drop venue, drop dates, drop.
So you're watching out for the next one.
You're watching for it. So anytime you watch the next one, I'm dropping the next information. So it was all very strategic, and I don't know how I came about it. It was just because I run with ideas. It comes and I just start because a friend of mine told me that, Bright, there's nothing that is 100%. Nothing. There's no joke that is complete. There's no movie that is 100% done. There's always room for either a line or whatever or a scene to be added that will make it even complete. And like if you watch Game of Thrones, the final season, everyone freaked out because everyone thought about their own ending. Do you understand? So to them, it's incomplete. That's it. If they do a final season of Game of Thrones and change the ending, I promise you, people will go and watch it. You understand? Because people, they love it that much and they've created their own, So that's it for me. I love. Yeah.
Lovely. Thank you so much.
I can say that question.
Yes. Is there a question? You allowed this to happen. I was going to keep it to myself. Well, thank you very much.
Okay, go ahead.
Good. Okay, so thank you very much. I think we've done over close to 1 hour thereabout because we started a little late. But do you have any parting words you'd like to share with people? Encourage somebody out there who, like Bright Okpocha back then, wasn't sure exactly where he would end up and what he would do. What do you have for them?
Okay. First of all, I'd like to thank you and everybody behind this project. I want to thank you all for giving me the opportunity to participate. When I heard advertising, I was like, I like to do it. I like to do it because I love advertising so much. And thank you so much. And to you, congrats. And like you're bad, man, with your stuff, your company. You guys deserve flowers. In a good sense, you guys deserve flowers, man.
Thank you.
Now, for all the creators, all the guys out there, my words. Okay, first of all, I know this might sound weird, but for you to be able to score 100 or for you to be able to score close to 100, first thing that you must do is yourself. You need to clean yourself up. Your heart, your being has to be pure because positive attracts positive, right? And for the church goers here, just in case you pay your tithe or you do something good, some people will be like, oh, God will give me, the money will not fall from the sky. Most times the money comes in as ideas, right? So whenever this thing comes, that's your money right there. An idea is worth billions of naira, depending on how you put it into use. So whenever an idea comes, do not feel like this is beyond me. This is too much. I can't achieve it. You can. That's why it was given to you. You understand? The universe gave it to you, just in case you don't want tossing at God. It was given to you. For the people that are atheists and all that, the universe gave it. It's a gift. you burying it, it won't come again. More won't come. But if you put it to use, you just realize that you will just start. More will start coming, because that's how God works. But first of all, your heart needs to be pure, because you can't be dark inside and you expect to be getting some bright ideas. It's impossible. Now, collaborate. Don't think that anybody is going to take the shine. Once it's yours, it's yours. Like, feel free to collaborate with people. And, then one other thing for the creatives, do this. Try as much as possible to present your skits like it's a movie, like it's an experience. You see, the sound, then, all those laughter effects that you people put, you can take it off. It's not necessary.
Yeah.
Let the people at home, let them do the laughing. Don't try to, like trigger them. You understand? Sometimes those things disrupt the creativity, disrupt the flow. It's not a sitcom like Friends.
Yeah.
It's a skit. Like if you watch Key and Peele, you realize that Key and Peele, there's no laughter. It's just straight. If you watch In Living Colors, if you watch the Dave Chappelle show, Chris Rock show, it's only when they are doing the live show that you get to laugh. You understand? Whatever. So that, and also hard work without you. We all know this. We all know all this stuff. I don't have to. Yeah. But what I'm trying to say now is this: once you're talented, and you're working hard, and it's not working out, don't give up. Do you understand? Don't think that, it's not working out. If some people say you spray and pray, like some style just say spray and pray, that one will hit. And trust me, it works. You understand? It works. If you watch war movies, they have snipers and they have the infantry. Those ones will just be shooting at the target. They don't know who they are. But the snipers are the ones that will just aim for a target, but they have a kill once in a long while. But if you're the one that does the spray and pray kind of style, as long as everything you are spraying, they are all not blank bullets, right? Which means everything you're doing, it has substance, it's good, you will hit something. Yes, and once you get the attention of someone, you can now start introducing all your other stuff. And you realize that, man, what you thought was going to make you the king is not even that, it's something else. Like when I was doing The Secrets of Lulu, all I wanted to do was to sell tickets. I did not know I was creating a good show, like, that people have been waiting for the season 2. So that's how it worked. It was spray and pray for me for that one. I was just doing everything. Yeah.
Interesting.
So yes, don't hesitate to throw things out. Like, I'll tell you one little secret before I leave.
Okay.
This year I told my friends, I was like, I want to create a show, right? That I want to create something that will be on either Netflix or something, or Amazon.
Something big, yeah.
Something big. So I came up with Ghana Jollof, and I gave it to Netflix, not directly, through someone.
Yeah.
And he came back to me and said, well, they like it, but they feel you can do better. And I was like, okay. I took it. I said, thank you. Now I know what I created. I wasn't going to let them make me feel like it's not 100%. So I still looked at it, in as much as I was confident with my creation. I wanted to see what they didn't see. So I looked at it and I amplified a few things, and Showmax came into the picture and they were looking for something. I was like, look, I've got something if you want. And I sent it to them and they loved it. Now, maybe if I hadn't amplified it after Netflix did that, maybe they wouldn't have loved it. You understand? I don't know. But when people tell you that, this is not dope enough, don't just argue with them and go like, no, it's fine. It is. Go back and look at it again, except you're convinced, and it has to come from a pure place, a very honest place. If you're convinced that, okay, this is good, then you can leave it. But the reason why I'm excited about Ghana Jollof was because it was rejected twice. I don't want to mention the other people. 3 people, actually. It was rejected 3 times. So I didn't give up. I was like, you know what? I believe that this show is going to be dope and it's going to do well. And I persisted until Wangi came in the picture and she was like, Basket, do you have any show, like any sitcom that you've created that is really dope? I was like, madam, I have something exceptional if you want it. And she was like, let me have it. And I sent it to her. 3 days later, approved. I was like,
Beautiful.
what the? So what I'm trying to say here is this. Do not hold anything back. You understand? And it was praying and praying for me. I was like, Netflix, you try to, just give everybody, don't feel disappointed because one person said we don't like it. You're like, oh God, they don't like it. Or what do I do now? No, that's one person. Billions of people in the world, one person would like it. So yes, that's it.
Thank you so much, Basket Mouth. It's been wonderful, very exciting, and I can tell you that in us you have kindred spirits. We always want to collaborate at some point, and look forward to the opportunity. I'll let you know that anytime there's an opportunity, I'll come calling, and I hope you'll be there for us.
I will. Trust me. If it's advertising, I'm there.
Beautiful. So
I saw a question here.
Yeah, okay.
I'm enjoying all the questions, though.
Lovely. So let's take it then. So he's asking, can you sign up as a brand influencer ambassador for a brand which with its core values do not match with your personal values, and why?
Yeah, if it doesn't match with my personal value, if it doesn't go with my fabric or the way I'm designed, I'm not going to take it because number one, the thing about my brand is it's a very honest brand. Yeah, I'm as clean as it can be, and I want the audience to know that I will not sell them a lie. Whatever I'm selling to them is something I believe in. You understand? Because once I start doing that, I've lost them. Because trust me, in as much as they will be smiling at the back of their mind, they will like, this guy is selling out. You understand? Like for instance, now I can't. There are some like the people that came to meet me and were like, I would like for you to influence a sex enhancement drink, those kind of these things. I'm like, no matter how much you're giving me, I'll pass.
But that's not you.
That's not me. You understand? But if it's something I can defend, definitely I'll do it.
Yeah, it's good to have a sense of who you are as a brand. Even if you created a brand called Basket Mouth, you must still align with you, who you are, deep inside you.
So, sir, there's one other question.
There's another one. It says, did you ever have content creating block or a writer's block, as we like to say, and how did you fix it? If yes,
it happens all the time. So what I do is once I'm trying to create something and it's not coming, I leave it and let it go. But the thing is, because of it's in my head, subconsciously I'm searching for it.
For the answer.
And for some 90% of the time, I don't know how it works. I will just walk into a place and someone will say something. Oh, bright, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, yeah, that's what I've been looking for. That's it. Thank you, guys. I'll see you later. I'm coming. I'll run.
Go write it down.
I'll go and write it down. I say, okay, this is. So once it happens, I pull
let
back.
It go.
I don't let it go until it comes. Because if I force it, it won't be good.
A former boss of mine will call it walk away from it. But when you walk away, you're not actually walking away. Really, because I think the ideas come in very careless moments when you least expect it. I mean, I don't know about you, but I tell you what, when you're in the toilet, somehow your mind is free from distractions.
You see all these sound sultans.
Yes,
it was in the toilet. Yeah, that was a toilet creation.
No phones, no distraction. You're the most.
And for me, I do a lot of flights as well. I get my stuff through long flights. If I bought a flight, because there's no distraction, nothing. So I just let myself go and I just start piecing things on the table or the paper and everything.
Interesting. Lovely.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
So,
I'm going to talk
about
LAIF Awards. Yeah, LAIF Awards is happening. The main.
Okay.
Sorry, you're not in the country. Otherwise, we would have loved to have you.
When is it?
Event on Saturday, 20th at the Landmark.
What
if you're
time?
in town, we'll have you. About 6 p.m. going to 8:10. If you're in town, we'd love to have you.
I'm in town. I'm back actually that day.
Oh,
but I have an event. I have a birthday party to
okay.
hold.
Okay.
But I will swing by. I want to see how you guys are. I want to see how you guys are
Shegun will
designed.
make that happen. Shegun will reach out to your men, and your men will talk.
Please,
My
Shegun,
men will talk to your men.
yes, please, let your men talk to my men. But I'll get your number through Dotun.
No problem.
Like to have
No
your
problem.
direct number.
No
Great
problem.
job you're doing. I'm honored to meet you. I did not know you were the one I was talking to. Great job. I'm actually honored to meet you. I've been talking. Even Dotun, my Dotun knows about. We talk about it. Like,
okay.
Did you see that Airtel advert? You're like, yo, man, we do it all the time.
Thank you so much. I'm honored as well. Thank you so much for your time, and thank you, beautiful audience. I believe we've had a good time with Basket Mouth, and I can't wait for Saturday for our main event, and hopefully next year we'll have another interesting personality to feature. Thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of your trip, and looking forward to seeing you on Saturday. Thank you.
Hopefully, I'll try and make it. Bye.
Bye. Okay. Then.
Let of the leaves fall.
Sometime.
Let of the leaves.
What's your time?
Okay, too slow. I know it's too slow. No. No. Let of the leaves fall. Let of the leaves.
This November, LAIF Awards will be recognizing creators, trendsetters, humanitarians, and life-changing personalities that have made great ideas work. This is West Africa's biggest celebration of creativity. We made it trend for bringing the power of viral content creation. We made it global for creators who have taken Nigeria to the world across advertising and marketing, film and music. We made it better for organizations focused on a transforming humanity. To vote, visit laif.com.ng to vote for your favorite personalities in their categories. Voting closes on the 18th of November 2021. LAIF Awards, celebrating creativity. Proudly sponsored by Tolerant Group and supported by Maven Records and Sound City. Did you hear? Something new is coming to the LAIF Awards this year. For the first time, you can vote and get your favorite TV commercial to win a LAIF award. To vote, visit laif.com.ng, choose your favorite TV commercial, and watch the vote rise. Voting closes on the 19th of November 2021. LAIF Awards, celebrating creativity. Proudly sponsored by Tolerant Group and supported by Maven Records and Sound City. The buzzers, the trendsetters, the pace setters, the creators. This November, we are celebrating teams that transformed brands and left a mark in the hearts of their audience with the power of their creativity. Join us at the Lagos Advertising and Ideas Festival LAIF, West Africa's biggest advertising festival. LAIF Seminar 16th of November 2021. Young Lifers 17th of November 2021. Awards Night and Industry Party 20th of November 2021 at the Landmarks Event Center. LAIF Awards will be a hybrid event streamed on laif.com.ng. Attendance is strictly by invitation. Proudly sponsored by Tolerant Group and supported by Maven Records and Sound City.